This is how you clean the DP filter. So first you're gonna have to unscrew this. After you unscrew the little black thing, then you have to take this ring off. Alright, now you have to take this top off, and the easiest way to do it is just come here, press start, and then quick clean. I just do quick clean because it's the max speed for the filter that I set it to. And then you just have to wait for a second. I had just cleaned this. You have to clean this filter too a lot because it's filled up with stuff. So we just have to wait for a second. I'll restart the video. Alright, so you can see the water will come off. Just make sure it gets like that. And then stop it. And then from there you can just pick it up. That you're gonna have to clean. You can see they're green and dirty. So next thing you have to do is unscrew this right here. Make sure you don't drop it because then it's hard to find. You should also wear rubber gloves when you do this because the chemicals or the algae, it can actually make your skin burn, and I forgot to do that, so my forearm is burning right now. It's not that bad, but if you can avoid it, it's better. Make sure you don't drop this washer either. So you take this black thing off, and you'll have to rinse that off too. Another thing is down here, you're gonna push this to the left. That's the drain. So when you do this, any water that you put in will come out right here. For the next step, you're just gonna do the same thing 8 times because there's 8 filters. So it doesn't matter what order. You just take it out, come over, and you just spray it. Normally when I do it, I hold it up like this and let it run down, but make sure you get it all off and make it completely clean. That's an example what it'll look like when it's done. See, it's all white. All this stuff's off of it. It's green right there for my hand, but I'll rinse it off before I put it in. And then you just lay it down. And then you just clean the rest of these, which is going to take about 30-45 minutes. Just so you know, this one should be replaced because you see how it's ripped right here. And on this side, you can see how it's ripped. So it's impossible to completely clean it because it's bad, and then because it's ripped, it won't clean as good. But I don't want to go to the store and get a new one right now, but eventually this will have to be replaced. Alright, so now these are all clean, so the next thing is to spray all this down. So you want to make it completely clean. Alright, so now that that's clean, you're going to want to make sure that there's nothing in the vents. So you want to make sure, like I said, that little pipe there is all the way to the left, so that way the drain is on. You're going to come over here, press start, press quick clean. And then usually what you do is you just watch for it until the water is clear. And sometimes it'll be clear in the beginning, but we'll see right now what happens. So there you see the stuff coming out. See how it's green. And then you can see too how that's green. So I don't like to let it overflow, so once it gets up to the top, we'll press stop, and then I'm going to let it drain down. So now for the next thing, what I'll do is I'm going to let that drain, and then I'm going to pull the pipe back to the right, and I'm going to run it for about 10 seconds, and that's to put more water through the vents or through the pipes. and make everything clear. All right, so that's drained. Yeah. There's a dog in the backyard? Is it Bestie?
No, it's a big dog.
Okay, I'll go check it out. Alright, so like I was saying, I'm gonna press start and then quick clean. And I'm only gonna do it for about 10 seconds. And that's just to run some water through the vents. And like I said, I put that all the way to the right, so it's not draining anymore. Alright, that should be good. So now I'll stop it. I'll come back. I'll drain it. The water looks clear. I'm gonna start it again. That's what I have it set to. And we'll see if the water looks clean or not. Alright, it looks clean, so that's good. So now I'm gonna let that drain, and I'm gonna put all of those white filters back in. When you go to put these in, you see this little slit right there, and then if you look in, there's a little notch. You see it? That little at the bottom, in the bottom right corner of the screen. That's where you're gonna come in, and all you have to do is you'll line that up. And then it goes in really easy. You don't have to push it. You just literally go like this, and it's already actually in. I'll pull it out, and I'm gonna put it in wrong. So it's in wrong. You just rotate it, and you'll feel it go in. It's pretty easy. When you put this black cover on, make sure that you have this white hose here. You wanna make sure it's sticking up, and then you'll see all these little like spike things. You just gotta move it and make sure the whole thing is, it'll fit even. It all fits. It's almost like a little puzzle. Okay, so it's on. And then the next thing is you'll reattach. You put this washer back on and this wing nut back on, and then you'll tighten it down. When you put this top part back on, just make sure this right here is pointed in this direction. It'll make it easier for when you have to release the air. It'll shoot the air basically at the door. This Dodge Nitro. The hardest, you want to try to make sure you push these down as much as you can, because it'll make putting this clamp back on easier. So when you put it on, try to get it as close as you can in the back, and then what you'll do is you'll push it together, and then this little bolt here, it goes in this slot, and then what you have to do is you have to put it on enough so that this sticks all the way out. It only needs to stick out just a little bit, so that way you can attach this and it'll screw in. So usually what happens is when you first put it on, it might not reach, so then you just got to keep pushing it and trying to get it tighter and tighter. And then what I've noticed helps me before is I'll take it off and put it back on, and it seems like it gets a little tighter each time. See, so this took about 20 seconds, but you can see I just pushed it on, tightened it, and that's where it is. So that's not far enough, so I have to keep messing with it because I need it to stick out a little bit more so that way I can attach the black. All right, so it's like a few minutes of messing with, but as you can see, I have it sticking out enough. Something that can help you is when you're squeezing it, and you'll be using both hands, one on this side, the other on this side, and pushing in, is you can take these off, and then in right here, just push it down so it's closer in the front part. And then, as you can see, this will happen. So it might be really hard, but it's not impossible. And if you just mess with it a little bit for a couple minutes, you'll get it. And then all you do is you attach this, and you'll screw it on until it's tight. And I'll resume it when I'm done so you can see how much gap there is. Alright, so it'll be about there, but in case you forget that, just it'll be really hard to move. Like I can't even move it with one hand. I would need two hands, and when you move it, it makes like a squeaking noise. So that's good. So now we're almost done. All right, so now we have to put the diametrous earth back in, which is normally just called DE. And then how much you put in is supposed to depend on how much square footage your filters have, which for ours the math comes out to about 5 or 6, but I've lived here for 2 years and I found that putting like 3 or 4 in works better, so that's usually what I do. Just go in. You should have this, the 1 pound scoop. And if you don't have one, you can either buy one or just figure something out. It's not that hard. And then you just go in. And you could put it straight in your filter, but it's better for you to dilute it first. So I usually put it in this thing because my bucket broke the other day. So you do that, mixes it up, and then it goes in. So I'm gonna put it in 3 same time as you're putting the DE in, you're gonna turn the filter back on, or the pump back on. So start, and I'm just gonna put it on 2300, which for the way I've set it is my number 3 button. This is really important. You gotta make sure you turn this knob, because it's gonna let the air out. And then eventually what will happen is you'll see the water start coming in, and then the water will squirt out here. So you wanna make sure you turn it off right away. And then you can see over there, you have your DE still going into the filter. Alright, so the water's coming in, so you'll start to hear a whistling noise. You might be able to already hear it through the video. Especially once you see that. And what this is doing is it's getting all the air out of the lines. Because I also coming in a second, and there it goes. So just gotta go for 1 second because you don't want to squirt the new DE out. I'm gonna come back here, and here's the backyard. There's Liella. Hi Liella, love you. Mwah. And there's our gazebo and our table, and there's our giant jumper that we bought. About 28 feet long and 15 feet high. And there's the playhouse I built, Liella, our side yard, our jacuzzi and our pool. And then I'll show you in the morning what it looks like after it's done cleaning and everything. But that's pretty much it. Now I'll just let this run out, make sure all of it goes in, and then I'll turn the vacuum on and I'll let the pump run all night. I'll put some chemicals in, some muriatic acid and some chlorine, and tomorrow morning this green pool will be crystal clear. All right, I love you all and I hope you have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Just an update, I like to raise it to 3,000 units. Just the reason for that, it uses a lot less max, but it's still pretty powerful. And then just one final update I forgot to mention. If you were to pay somebody to do that, it would cost anywhere from $75 to $150, depending on how professional they were and if they're an individual person or a company and what their credentials were.